Sunday Fun Day stream. In the beginning, the first part, which is only on X because YouTube was still blocking my access to live streaming, we vibe coded this little piece of billing UI, and now we want to breathe life into it. And to be honest, I don't recall really where to start anymore. So let's just figure this out together. So I've built billing with Stripe before, but it's just been a long time. So let's see. We definitely need server actions, right? Because all of these guys need to lead you to add in your payment details. The question is, if you are on a free trial, do you already have an account? And did you already start your free trial? What is the flow? Let me actually go into the Stripe docs and figure this out. So what would we do? So we have the Stripe documentation. And let's say developer tools, I think. Is it extend Stripe partners? SDKs? No. Where is the checkout? Stripe checkout. Payments, okay. We need ChatGPT for this to do some research. So let's go in O1 and let's start asking with internet search. So if I want to start my users out on free trial without entering their CC, how to do that programmatically. And then once they run out of their free trial, how to set up the checkout session or customer portal. Which of the two do you need? So that then they can enter their CC details. Let me actually do O4 Mini. Hi, trust it more. Create a subscription with built-in trial. After the trial ends, okay. Create a customer plus subscription with trial, no CC up front. Stripe subscriptions create, Stripe customer create. When the trial ends, collect card plus start billing. Once a Stripe billing customer portal. Yeah, this is good. So you need the customer portal, I think. And nothing else. So this is different if you have an app where you completely use it for free, right? So this app or these designs are going to be like, hey, you have to eventually put in your CC, but obviously you want to be able to start a free trial without a CC just because that improves the general conversion rate, right? However, for apps where you have a generally free area that should always be accessible for free, which is how we modeled the pricing right now. But yeah, I'm not going to implement it that way just because we don't need it in the template that way. Then you probably need to open checkout sessions, right? So let me just quickly write this down. Let me just go into the billing page. So you have, for those that are watching, you have the checkout session, which is basically create a subscription for the first time, and then you have the customer portal update subscription. Yeah, and the thing is that in this flow right here, we want to programmatically create the subscription once they sign up. So in the register flow, we need to create the subscription for them so that immediately they start on a free trial, at least for this template. And you can just stop doing that if you want to use the template with a complete free trial. Again, because it's a template, we need to support all of these different use cases. I just wanted to tell this to you so you know what's up. And then we also need to handle the webhooks. Let me think, what were those webhooks? There were like a bunch of them, if I remember correctly. We had like, and you could set up those webhooks locally and stuff like that. I forgot all about it. It was really has been a while since I've been doing this stuff. I'm on a different screen right now, so you can't see that because there's might be some how do you say confident data on there, yeah, that you're not supposed to see. Yeah, and have you the different event types. You to switch for the different event types. Need an action that reacts to that. So we need a webhook for that. And we need to stripe webhook secret. Do we have that already configured? Let me take you away so you can see it. Yeah, we have that. Okay. Okay, that's good. You need the payload. And then you need to construct the event. Yeah. So we first need to install the Stripe admin. So let's do that. npm install. I think it's just called Stripe. GitHub Stripe Node.js. Yeah, so I think it's just npm install Stripe. Yeah. npm e Stripe. So let's actually do git checkout -b billing page, and then npm install Stripe. Nice. And from here, we can create the Stripe SDK. So I think it's called like Stripe admin or something like that. Yeah. So we can go billing Stripe admin dot server, because you're not supposed to use this on the client. Import Stripe from Stripe. Do we just create it? What is the documentation? So I'm looking at the Stripe admin documentation right here. Yeah, and we can just say import invariant from tiny invariant, and then we can say export const Stripe admin equals to new Stripe. Yeah, unfortunately they use classes, but it is what it is. No one's perfect. And we need to say const equals to process.invariant. Nice. Okay. So we have the Stripe admin stuff set up. That is good. It's obviously configured with a test key, right? So sk test and stuff like that. So you never, locally you want to just use your live keys, and then there are like certain billing data that you can always use, but we're going to get to that. And now we need the webhook. So how do you do webhooks? You create a folder, v1. No, API, nice. The folder /v1/stripe.ts. Cool. And then let's say export function loader return message hello world. And let's visit that guy. So it should be API v1 Stripe. Ooh, this doesn't work. So I think the folder structure might be messed up. So let's do API plus v1 plus. How about now? Yeah, now it works. This little plus comes from Remix Flatroute. So if you're wondering what that is, check it out. Cool. So we got that set up, but in our world, we don't want like GET requests because all Stripe webhooks are post requests. Again, I'm cheating, right? Or if you would have to figure this out from scratch, if you've never done Stripe, this is all the stuff that you would need to read in the docs. I know a little bit what I'm doing because I've done this 1,000 times. I just need to figure out the details again. Let's go into Playwright, end to end. We need a new folder, billing, and then we can say here, new file, Stripe, webhook.end-to-end.ts. Cool. And we want to test stuff. So let's first say our URL is /API v1 Stripe. Maybe let's do /webhooks just so. .webhooks /API /webhooks. Yeah, and that's better. What's happened? Oof, oh no, it's just, you just can't see it. And then we need to, oh yeah, we need to mock all the different Stripe events and stuff like that. I remember. I'm looking at like an old code base and I'm seeing what I can reuse and whatnot. Let's go. Test.describe. We need to import test from Playwright test, Stripe. Let's just do the URL. And we already have tests, by the way, in this code base. So if you are looking into other like tests, how we did it, or let's actually do it the same way. So let's say API path route $path. So let's do $path API route, and then let's rename this guy to path. That is cool. Yeah, so we have other files that show you how you can write tests for just API requests and stuff like that. Nice. Yeah, no. This is getting way ahead of ourselves. So first of all, what we want to do is test given a GET request should return a 405 error. Why 405? 405 is not allowed. So 405 method not allowed, this guy. Do we have it in our HTTP methods? Let's check that out. HTTP response servers, do we have not allowed? No, we don't. So this is something that the AI can do for us. So we can just say plus, and we need the tests, write the tests and the helper method model both after the existing tests and methods for 405 not allowed. Sort it appropriately between the other status codes. I just like my code sorted, usually either alphabetically or here in this case, like 405, 409, right? So it should be between. It makes it just easier to find stuff. I mean, you can always fuzzy search, right? But it's good if stuff is at the right place. Oh, yeah, the 404 was even too low. He lifted it up. Thank you, Claude, for that. Coming in clutch. Yeah, there was a pun in there, but didn't make it. Okay, what do you do when AI wrote code? You review it. Given no arguments should return 4 or 5 startup. Yeah, given customer object should, yeah, given custom data and headers looks good. Looks bueno. Thank you. Okay, so now we can write this test. Now we can say const response equals to await request.get path. And the status, yeah. And now how do you get JSON? No, not T from Ramda. Expect. How do you get JSON, right? Because we also want to make sure that the JSON response is correct. For that, we need a helper. I don't know if we already have it. Do we have get JSON? We don't. Okay, so let's create that guy. And you say export const get JSON equals to response API response. That's already in here, and then you say response.body dot then, and we need buffer to JSON because what it returns here is a buffer, right? We need to convert that buffer to JSON. Const buffer to JSON equals to buffer buffers type that's just available globally. Parse buffer dot to string, and then say here buffer to JSON. Ooh, it is complaining here. I think that might just be TypeScript that is not working. Let's see. Coolio. Okay, now let's add tsdoc. Add tsdoc to buffer to JSON and get JSON. And we already have similar helpers here, right? Get path and stuff like. Ooh, what the fuck? Reject. This little guy here is so bad. I think one of my pet peeves. Let's just see if it can. Let's do it properly. Chat. Well, one of my pet peeves with cursor is that this inline guy is really, really stupid. They should, and it costs fast requests, which is just atrocious. So I forget that I barely want to use it. But sometimes it's just faster, you know. Life's hard as a coder in the age of AI. Add tsdoc to buffer to JSON and get JSON. Let's go. It's a waiting game. Always need to maintain concentration. Obviously, it repeats everything to me. Why not? At least it's fast in typing. Imagine you could type this fast. That would be pretty sick. Gimme. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see if it's correct. Convert the buffer into JSON string. The buffer containing JSON data, the path data. Okay. Here's still complaining. Unsafe return value of type any. So what we probably need to do is type it. We don't know its type. What does it say when we fix this in chat? And now it returns unknown. Am I happy with that? Not really, but doesn't matter. Not really. I mean, this should always be JSON, right? Let's return this. Let's get the complaint. And I like 04 mini more, so let's do them. Type script complaints. Is there like a generic JSON type or something like that that we can use here to have TS calm down and also get a little better type safety than just unknown. Obviously, it's replying with everything again, but I think when it has already written that it is maybe a little faster, I don't know. Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's removing my precious spaces. Where does JSON come from? Oh yeah. Type JSON. Accept JSON Cool. Okay. And now this should know that it's returning JSON. Nice. Okay, got a text. Do I need to stop this live stream? I might need to stop the live stream. Can I at least do something useful? Let's see if I can get through to something useful before we stop this here. So we at least have some cool stuff, because so far we just coded a bunch of helpers and did nothing. So let me finish the test here. Yeah. So now we can use this here to say expect, await, get JSON from the response. And this is also stuff that normally you would have to figure out, right? I know that unfortunately there's no way to get the JSON otherwise. How did we write this? Method not allowed. Okay, so everything is capitalized. And you don't want to go into one line? Yeah, you do. Cool. So let's run that test. It should fail. And receive the 200, yeah. So how do we fix this? We just say export const loader not allowed. Save. Run this guy again. Ooh. Really? Oh yeah. Wait. Really? Why is it a 200? Does this guy have to throw? Good that you have the test, right? This would be stuff that just would go under the radar. It's not an unexpected server error. Oh, yeah. Haha, here's the problem. This guy is a data with response in it, but in order for it to work for this other route, it actually has to be new response null 404, and we can say here message not allowed. So technically speaking, we probably have to method not allowed. We probably have to JSON stringify. Come on, fix this. Thank you. We don't need you. So the thing that is, since single fetch was introduced in Remix, I love this single fetch API, but I hate that you cannot use the primitives anymore. In my opinion, that's one of the strong suits of Remix, is that it just uses the native like web API. This is why I think Remix is winning the race, or React Router v7. I don't want a dead name. Is winning because it's just so intuitive. And to be honest, everyone that I know that started using it a lot learned a lot about how the web really works, me included. Like, there's so much stuff that I learned that the browser can do that I didn't even know it would just do automatically. And I hate that you have to use this little data helper for single fetch. I know that Michael and Ryan and the team at React Router are geniuses, so if they have to introduce this little quirky helper, it's probably for a good reason. But it was so much cooler when you could just return responses, throw responses, and stuff like that. Because now you have situations like these where it's not possible. So Ryan, Michael, React Router team, Shopify, if you see this, please, there's a little gripe, super small gripe, but you just feel it sometimes, right? It's a little less beautiful than this wonderful API could be. Anyways, let me see if this fixes the test. It probably does. Yay, it does. Cool. I have to end the stream for now. I might resume soon. Do I? Fuck it. Fuck obligations. Fuck the budget, as Playboy Cutty said during Rolling Loud. Let's keep going. So we also want to make sure that other requests aren't allowed, right? So I think this should be smart enough for this. So write the same test for put and delete. Gucci, and these should fail. Like a 500 server error, yeah, because we haven't implemented an action. Export function action. We have some stuff here. Route dot action arcs. I love this. Is I could fanboy over the Remix API. Sorry, the React Router API all day. This is so beautiful that it just infers this stuff. Now it should no longer be a server error, but yep. And so since it's all not allowed, let's abstract this away. Const not allowed equals to, yeah, just this. And then we can return not allowed. And then here, request const method equals to request of method. If it's not post, return not allowed. Thank you. Nice. Oof, what happened? Unexpected end of JSON. Let's log out the method. Console.log method. Now it's passed. Weird. Don't be flaky. Oof. 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 Shit. What is being returned here? We need to look into this. Console.log string const string return. Here we go again. This is all undefined. How? It was first parsing, now it's no longer parsing. Do we need to make this a method? Does this help? It does. My understanding of response is not good enough to understand why, but if it fixes, don't change it. So let's inline this again. Thank you. One more check. Didn't break anything. Bam, bam, bam. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So now we need to know all of the different API responses that are going in. Test.describe. Post requests. And now we can group all of the different post request stuff in the neat little describe block. So we're here. Was it here? No, this was from the last thing. Let me go into the chats. Reload. I think this was the chat that we did at the beginning of the stream. For one, which event is coming through? No. I mean, when you do this, what webhooks get fired? Also, tell me how I can set up test mode locally with the webhooks. Okay. While this was running, I thought about a bunch of stuff, right? So I just need a list. I think I have it in account. End-to-end tests, yeah. There's all the stuff that we still need to do. And here, billing, we need to like pay right away from the pricing page unauthenticated new user, then pay right away from the pricing page authenticated existing user. And what else do we need? Yeah, those are edge cases that we need to handle. And we need to think about when you visit the pricing page. I'm thinking this, right? You know, you can either be logged in or you can be logged out. And we need to decide what you see or what happens, right? So obviously, when you're logged out and you click here, start free trial, for example, you need to log in, but we need to remember. I mean, you shouldn't put in your credit card anyway, so this should just direct you to the account, and then you create one. That's actually easy. So you don't need to pay right away. And then there are also more edge cases, right? Like, what if you have an organization that whose free trial is already expired? What if you want to add it to an organization that you have? It's a bunch of cookie logic that we need for this. Right, so we have given an unauthenticated user that doesn't have an account should, I don't know, we need to figure this out. Given an unauthenticated user with an account who wants to pay for one of their organizations. Given an unauthenticated user with an account who wants to pay for one of the organizations for which they are a member, this shouldn't be possible. Shouldn't be possible. Given an unauthenticated for which they are an admin or owner, right? Need to think about that edge case. Given an authenticated user with an account yeah, and basically these tests we also have given an unauthenticated user with an account who wants to pay for a new organization, right? And then, to be honest, for the authenticated steps, so authenticated steps are the same, just in the unauthenticated version, you need to sign in / sign up in between. Right? There are tons of edge cases visiting the pricing page. So pricing page. And then also, once you are in the organization also has different states, right? Organization states are either you have no free trial, you can just start the free trial, and you have free trial ran out, you need to enter CC details. And you also need to be able to enter your CC details even on free trial if you just want to continue using the app and paying. Wow, edge case galore. But that's why pricing usually takes a long time, because of all these different edge cases that you need to think about, right? Yeah, I need to end the stream for now. I'm sorry. I need to take care of something. I might be back later though. So yeah, peace.